Label of a plant in botanical gardens does not carry information about collector's name. Flora, habitat and distribution of plants of a given area. Manuals, identification of names of species. Monographs, information of any one taxon. Catalogs, index of the species. Botanical gardens, living plants for reference. Bacteria obtaining energy from the oxidation of inorganic substances are called chemolithotrophs. In which class of fungi the mushroom belongs to Basidiomycetes? Precursor to the seed habit is development of the zygotes into young embryos take place within the female gametophytes when it retained on the parent sporophytes. The endosperm of gymnosperm is haploid. Evolutionary sequence of gametogenesis is sporogenous tissue, microspore mother cell, microspore, and pollen grain. When pollen is shed at two-celled stage, double fertilization does not take place. It's a wrong statement. A transverse section of stem is stained first with a saffron and then with a fast green, following the usual schedule of double staining for the preparation of a permanent slide. What would be the color of the stained xylem and phloem? Red and green. Thorn is a stem structure because it develops from axillary bud. The growth of the roots and stems by increase in girth in most dicotyledonous plants is called secondary growth. The child affected with Down syndrome has flattened nasal bridge, open mouth with protruding tongue. Inversion, deletion, and transition cause point mutation. If Michelson and Stahl's experiment is continued for 4 generations in bacteria, the ratio of 15n 15n is to 15n is to 15n is to 14n by 14n containing DNA in the fourth generation would be 0 is to 1 is to 7. The genetic code was discovered by Nirenberg and Mattei. Which one of the following cell organelles is enclosed by a single membrane? Lysosome. Which organelle is not found in plant cells? Centriole. In breeding, select harmful recessive genes that reduce fertility and productivity. Apis is a generic name of honeybee. Most active phase in cell division is S phase. Migration is an adaptation that should be categorized under behavioral attribute. Large ecosystems are called biomes. What gases are produced in anaerobic sludge digesters? Methane, hydrogen sulfide, and carbon dioxide. Cynodon is not an invasive alien species in the Indian context. The material generally used for soundproofing of rooms like a recording studio and auditorium is styrofoam. Absorption of water and minerals in submerged hydrophytes takes place through outer surface of plant body. Protein that forms huge pores in the membrane to allow molecules to pass through is called porine. According to criteria for essentiality of an element, the element must be directly involved in the metabolism of the plant, and in the absence of the element, the plants do not complete their life cycle. And also the element must be absolutely necessary for supporting normal growth and reproduction. Nitrifying bacteria oxidize ammonia to nitrates. Carbon dioxide acceptor in C3 plants is ribulose 1,5-diphosphate. Photorespiration in C3 plants starts from photoglycolate. A single turn of Krebs cycle yields 1 FADH2, 3 NADH, and 1 ATP. Pyruvic acid, the key product of glycolysis, can have many metabolic fates. Under aerobic condition, it forms acetyl CoA plus carbon dioxide. Vernalization is a speeding up the ability to flower by low temperature treatment. As we go from species to kingdom in a taxonomic hierarchy, the number of common characteristics will decrease. Viruses have DNA enclosed in a protein coat. About liverworts. The plant body of liverwort is thalloid or leafy. Asexual reproduction takes place by fragmentation of thalli or gemme. Gemme are green multicellular asexual buds which develop in gemma cups. During sexual reproduction, male and female sex organs are produced either on the same or on different thalli. The sporophyte is differentiated into a foot, setae, and capsule. Formation of fruits without fertilization is known as parthenocarpy. When the margin of the thalamus not grow upward, enclosing the ovary completely and not getting fused with it, the other parts of the flower not arise above the ovary, then this type of flower is called a hypogynous. Grain color in wheat is determined by three pairs of polygenes following the cross capital AA, capital BB, capital CC. Dark color into small AA, small BB, small CC, light color. In F2 generation, what proportion of the progeny is likely to resemble either parent? Less than 5%. DNA fingerprinting was invented by Alec Jeffrey. SCR and RER can be distinguished with its presence of fat and protein synthesizing cells. Queen is specified for egg laying. Respiratory quotient RQ is less than unit in the case of protein. Secondary sewage treatment is mainly a biological process. High value of BOD, biochemical oxygen demand, indicates that water is highly polluted. In plant cells, cell membrane and the membrane of the vacuole, the tonoplast, together are important determinants of movement of molecules in or out of the cell. Iron is mainly absorbed in the ferric form. Chemosynthetic bacteria obtain energy from inorganic chemicals. The vector host for sleeping sickness is sesefly. Platyhelminthes are mostly endoparasites having hook and suckers in the parasitic forms and absorbs nutrients from the host directly through their body surface. Animals in which the developing embryo has a third germinal layer, mesoderm, in between the ectoderm and endoderm, present in annelids, echinoderms, and platyhelminthes. Frogs help humans as they maintain ecological balance, eat insects and protect the crop, and in some countries the muscular legs of frog are used as food by man. Liver is the largest gland and is associated with various functions. Choose which is not correct from the following. Answer is secretion of hormone called gastrin is wrong statement. Because gastrin is a hormone that stimulates the secretion of gastric acid HCl by the parietal cells of the stomach. It is released by G cells in the pyloric antrum of the stomach, duodenum, and the pancreas. In human beings, digestion starts in buccal cavity. In periplaneta, hemolymph filled within hemocoel carries a large amount of oxygen to the body tissue. and the efficiency of oxygen supply to body cells is very high in tracheal system of periplaneta. These two are correct statements. Functional residual capacity in a human is the amount of air that remains in the lungs after normal expiration. When you hold your breath, which of the following gas changes in blood would first lead to the urge to breathe? Rising carbon dioxide concentration. Which layer develops first during embryonic development of man ectoderma? Morula is the developmental stage between the zygote and the blastocyst. The inner cell mass, which has the potency to give rise to all tissue and organs, is called stem cells. ZIFT gift procedure is a zygote is collected from a female donor and transferred to the fallopian tube. Tubectomy is not a natural method of birth control. The founder effect is the large scale change in allele frequency to become different species. The process by which organisms with a different evolutionary history evolve similar phenotypic adaptations in response to common environmental challenge is called convergent evolution. Dialyzing unit artificial kidney contains a fluid which is almost same as plasma except that it has no urea. Excretory product of a mosquito is uric acid. The joint between the femur and the pelvic girdle is ball and socket. Cartilaginous joints or permit slight movements are found in the bodies of vertebrae and are found in symphysis. Patella is associated with the knee. Cavity of vitreous humor in the eyes are situated behind the lens. Ovulation in mammals is caused by FSH and LH. Melatonin hormone is secreted by pineal body. Blood pressure in the mammalian aorta is maximum during systole of the left ventricle. Matching type of white blood cells and percentage. Basophils 0.5 to 1%, eosinophils 2 to 3%, monocytes 6 to 8%, lymphocyte 20 to 25%, neutrophils 60 to 65%. A specialized cardiac musculature called nodal tissue is distributed in the heart. In a standard ECG, P wave and QRS complex represent depolarization of atria and ventricles respectively. A detailed ECG can be obtained with the help of more than 3 leads. Bacterial genes responsible for resistance to antibiotics such as ampicillin, chloramphenicol, tetracycline, or kanamycin are used as selectable marker. DNA is denatured to produce single strand by alkaline solution. Recombinant DNA technology prepared vaccine is called a second generation vaccine. Cyclostomes are dioecious. Forewings in cockroach arise from mesothorax and are dark and leathery. HCl is highly acidic, but walls of stomach do not dissolve by its action because it is covered by a thick layer of mucus. A person suffers punctures in his chest cavity in an accident without any damage to the lungs. Its effect could be cessation of breathing. Here is a matching. Mons pubis, female external genitalia. Antrum, Graphian follicle. Trophectoderm is embryo formation. Nebenchem, sperma. Exponential growth is maximum in tissue culture cells. Charles Darwin and his son Francis Darwin observed that the coleoptile reptiles of canary grass responded to unilateral illumination by growing towards the light source, phototropism. The two kidneys in human lie left kidney at a higher level than the right one. In the region of joining of two cardiac muscle cells is present intercalated disc. Neurotransmitter which is not a simulator, gamma amino butyric acid. You met a person who has bulging and protruding eyes, tachycardia and higher body temperature. He suffered from hyperthyroidism. Process of parturition is facilitated by relaxin and oxytocin. Scoliodon has only deoxygenated blood in its heart. Biotechnology is the modern branch of biology which deals with genetic engineering, biochemistry, and microbiology. What is the full form of ADA? Adenosine deaminase. What is the source of chewing gum? Latex from Acarus japota. Feathery stigma occurs in maize. Rubber in India is obtained from Ficus elastica. Hing obtained from root. Cotton is an example of surface fiber. Opium is obtained from Papaver somniferum. The matrix blood is plasma. Presence of underlying basement membrane is the special feature of epithelial tissue. Mammary glands are classified as apocrine type. Melanoblasts occur in junction of dermis and epidermis.